Good morning. It's Saturday, January 25th, 2025, and it's the Wall Street Weekly Wrap Up with your host, John Newquist. And it's cold, and it's been cold all month. -1 yesterday, and I was out there doing inspections. Like, wow. Um, Good week, and we'll see how good a week it was. And let's take a look at it. I think a lot of people did good. I mean, it'd be pretty hard not to do good this week when we see the heat map. You could, if you bought the wrong two stocks, you could be in a kind of a world of hurt. President Trump went in a press conference. He had CEOs of OpenAI and SoftBank and Oracle, confirmed partnerships to invest 500 billion. Remember, the S&P bailout, they gave the banks 25 billion. I mean, we're talking 500 billion. It's not the CHIPS Act. It's like AI Act. I don't, know, I know SoftBank's going to kick maybe 100 million in, but I haven't seen where all this money's coming from. But that's just the minor details. It's only 500 billion. But who's going to benefit? NVDA. Look at the NVIDIA chart. Everybody says, "Oh my God, it's been 150, 140 for a long time." That's the way it works with these tech stocks. Our kings, the NVIDIA, is in sleeping mode. It's doing well. It's kind of a nice uptrend. Kind of broke through it down here. So people are, if you're a chartist of this, you're like, ugh. You got a nice uptrend. It's going to break up. It went down and it went back into the middle. So the uptrend is kind of still there. But look at it, nice, slowly sloping up. So I think the video is going to be good because they're sold out in 2025.
They are sold out in 2025.
That's pretty good. And we'll talk about other stuff too. And ARM, the other thing for AI is, ARM, Taiwan Semiconductor, and NVIDIA making the chips the way they want to be. And SoftBank said the holder stake in ARM, it jumped up. Look at this candle. Like, oh God, it's great. He's going to hold it. That doesn't say anything about revenue. It's just like what I call posturing. I mean, why people buy their money on that? But it's a technological partner. The big thing is they got a big OpenAI data center coming in Texas. And it is going to be huge. And they're going to get a part of it because they have the processor in the Blackwell chip. So, of course, NVIDIA and ARM and Taiwan Semiconductor are all going to be in this. So, again, look at this nice steady one. The ARM CEO was on CNBC. We're in everything. We're doing well. And I think, like I said, it's a steady company. But people, like I said, oh man, it was up in July and then dropped a lot in August, and it's still not up. Well, look at it, kind of poked its head above the area. I think again, it's 170, 162. I look at $200 ARM sometime this year. Sometime this year we'll get there. The indicators, I'm telling you, he wants the interest rates to drop. It doesn't matter what the Fed cuts, what the bond market says the prices are going to be. If there's inflation, the bond market is not going to give you bonds at, mortgages at 4%, 3%. You're not going to get at that deal. That's what they don't understand. You can make the interest rates drop. It can help some people, but it's not going to help the average home buyer. I mean, it might go down a little bit, but I just tell people it's like, inflation's sticky, and that's one of the problems. Crude oil, look at it. They're punching. Drill, baby, drill sounds good until you realize it's not going to happen fast. You just don't open up a drilling rig in the middle of Alaska, pump out the oil next month, and you're there. It's going to take years. You got to get the permits. And I know if you're going to streamline the permits, but the oil companies, they'll probably humor, the administration and get a couple of these things going, but you ain't going to get the oil out there and, record amounts where you're going to do another 100 million a day. It's just not going to work that way. And heaven forbid you do a refinery, it's going to be 4 years, 5 years to build one of those. So, there's a lot of issues to look at. Natural gas, I mean, that's where we're going to go. I mean, we've got a lot of natural gas. We got to have the more pipelines, push it around, get it out here, be able to export it to Europe. Europe wants cheap natural gas. It's not bad. I heard one of the guys today, I forgot who it was. One of the CEO says, I could envision a $5 natural gas. I'm like, I was there. That was painful. That was a gas bill of $400 a month, Gold, look at this, 727. I think we're going to get 3,000 gold. Another prediction. I've got all these predictions today, but I think it will go 3,000. I think we're going to be up another 10%, and it's going to be good. And silver is over 30, so that's another one. I like to get copper up to 450, but man, Europe and China are flat. But look at the gold chart. It's coming close to this number. That's why I think it's going to go up, you know, and gold had a good day today. And our portfolio, oh my God, look at this, 7.02%. Boom. The S&P, 3.7. Remember, that's our benchmark. We always measure on that. And again, we lost a little bit today, but, you know, it's been hot, you know, and we compare ourselves always to the S&P 500.
This is a reminder. Talk about DeepSeek.
Oh, DeepSeek. All right.
This is a reminder. Talk about DeepSeek.
DeepSeek is the Chinese version of ChatGPT, and there's a lot of crap. You know, we don't see all the financial because the Chinese are hiding it. Oh, it was built for $100 million. It's just as good as ChatGPT. Well, yeah, if you want to say a ChatGPT 2.0, yeah, it's not as good as any of these ones I use. I mean, you can get a basic one. You can ask a simple question, gives you simple answers. You ask a hard question, it doesn't give you, it gives you simple answers. So it's not there. You know, it doesn't do the graphics. They keep on thinking it's going to overrun. No, they're using, you know, their best version of the NVDA chip, which is not there. You know, it's not the Grace Hopper, even though they've kind of stolen that design and they've looked at it. But they're not. It looks good, but it isn't that good. I mean, you know, I don't see anybody using it in the United States because everything is free is better, you know, than DeepSeek. So don't get excited about it. When it does stuff in there, you know, like I said, you know, we really got ChatGPT 4.0 and we got Gemini Advanced. Those are the two I use, and Meta's Llama 3 is good. So I want to say those three kings are the ones up there. Perplexity is probably 4, and then, you know, Claude is, you know, 5. It's in there. I mean, everybody's playing with it. Everybody wants more money for this stuff, and you know, I still can't, you know, and I can talk about Copilot. You know, Copilot, you want, hey, can you put all my PowerPoints in Calibri font 20 for everything? No, I can't do that. Well, you're smartest. You got billions of dollars. You can't do a simple task that I could use every day. Can you just put it and get rid of all my duplicate sides? Put this in a logical order? No, sorry, can't do that. You want to rewrite a sentence? I can get Grammarly to do that. I don't need a AI system to rewrite my grammar. Come on, you know. So there's going to be potential. You know, they're all going to do it, and then one day somebody's going to do these graphics. And right now, 4.0 GPT does nice graphics and stuff. And I know, you know, Perplexity has an advanced paid version, but I'm not into it right now because, you know, you got to make your free version good to the point where I want to use that more than one of these other paid ones, which, you know, they're going to put money. Google's going to kick more money into it. But look at this. You know, in the 2 years we've been doing this on YouTube, S&P Midcap has never been the leader for the year. Look at this thing. It's not the leader. I mean, it's going up slowly. Went down a lot from December, you know, and but this year, you know, remember we start January. We're all starting new. It's always what did you do this year, not what you did great. You know, I don't want to hear about what you did, you know, 5 years ago and, you know, in 2009, because your money is in the present. That's why we always are hard working and trying to work with this issue. The NASDAQ is good, 3.3. Remember, our goal was 8%. You know, 10 is great. 10% every year is a great return. I'll take that. I mean, you know, yeah, we did 33 and 39 or whatever it was last year. I mean, just a lot. That's a big difference. But this is good so far. Again, best in sector, our 14 sectors, not our 11. NextEra, the king for us. Remember, they sold the pipeline, so this should be the last earnings where the pipeline revenues aren't there. So, but, you know, CEOs on CNBC, there were a lot of good CEOs this week. That's one thing I like about, you know, I actually forked over the money for CNBC Live, so I can listen to it anywhere, anytime, and I don't have to have a TV set. And, you know, at $99 a year, I'm going to get my money. You know, this, I'm thinking, we used to have cable with all this, but you couldn't do it in your car. You couldn't do it on your phone. Now I can just pop it up, and it's on my app. It's on there, and I can get it at any time because I just have it as background news, and I can listen to it. And I can do other stuff with it. And then when they got somebody else like this, what's the biggest renewable utility? NextEra. We got the largest gas generation fleet, the largest natural gas builder in the United States. We're going to start the nuke plant if we get a contract with a data center, and we have large battery storage facilities. We own Florida Power Light. He thinks the power demand is going to go up 6x, not like 2x, which I would have put on as a model. That's pretty big. But, you know, this data centers suck up a lot of energy. So, yeah, it could be in there. And then power, you know, like I said, you got to have plants, and they're not building the nuke plants. It takes 8 years to build a nuke plant, so that's why they're going to dig them out of the mothballs. And you got to have stable power. You know, that's why everybody's going down to Texas. And I like the OpenAI, like, you better have some backup. Maybe it's going to be like Taiwan Semi, because solar farms all the way around it and batteries storing it just so they can, you know, hopefully not have a hurricane and wipe the whole thing out, you know. 4 years, $120 billion in investment. That's a lot. Remember, the bank bailout was not that much. I mean, you know, this is, you know, J.P. Morgan and Citibank, they all got $25 billion. He's going to cough up $30 billion a year. That's a lot of money. And they paid 3.5. Remember, the power compounding is, when we bought this eons ago, it was paying 3.9, but it goes up every year. So as it goes up and it's split and everything else, we're at about 27% from the original investment. That's the power compounding. That's, if anything you learn from Buffett, that is a powerful tool over time. You know, I mean, you know, this is one of the things people have kind of cut back on the areas, but I think it's not that bad. You know, I think it's a good stock, 3.1% dividend.
This is a reminder. Bitcoin in 12 minutes.
Okay, Bitcoin.
This is a reminder. Bitcoin in 12 minutes.
Well, Alexa, what is the price of Bitcoin?
One Bitcoin is worth 104,700 US dollars,
See?
up 1.2% over the last 24 hours.
Up a little bit today, got up to 107, come back down. People are just having a hard time with Bitcoin. They want to go up, and I say, good luck with that. You know, it goes. I mean, we're up several percentage. I want to say 40%, maybe. You know, a lot of stuff we bought in there. I mean, we made a lot of money on Bitcoin over the time. We're in a lot of crypto. We fortunately got to our 11th one. I mourn because I was trying to keep it at 10, but you know, our group of us, the 6, you know, we kind of talk about these stocks, and the Wolfie and the Swifts want more. You know, like, no, they're all tech and no diversification, but that's okay. It's the opinions, you know, because you have to have other opinions in there. That's what makes it good. Alcoa used to come out first in the earnings. I just kind of grew up. Alcoa was the first one to come out there. Now it's like, But look at this revenue jump. Wow, 34%. That's a big revenue jump. You know, they're buying more aluminum. It's kind of out of the doldrums and stuff. So, you know, I mean, you would think going back, this stock would be 34% higher, and it's essentially been flat. You know, it's not a bad one in there. You know, if you're going to pick an industrial or material stock, you know, because I call it materials because it makes aluminum. It doesn't manufacture a product. It just puts a raw product out and sells it to the other manufacturers. Not a bad one, you know, but we're overweight in that sector. So, but you know, it's one I'm watching, you know, and if you want to get into it, that's when you want to say, let's figure out why we're jumping that much, because the autos are not jumping 34%. So where's the aluminum going? It's not going into copper wiring, you know. So I'm just intuitive surgical. I'm having a hard time speaking tonight. Well, the revenues 25%, good earnings, everything is nice. You know, 18% growth, 25% growth. You know, more Da Vinci surgicals, got little bitty robots to help you doing the surgery. 2,000 a year, let's say, going up. Boy, that chart is beautiful. That's a beautiful chart. That's the chart you want to sit there and hug, you know. I just have the only problem with it is that we're going to be in the stock, and what's the cap? You know, is it going to go to Europe and Japan? Probably. But, you know, you got to remember, the thing that catches me, if you can do this and make a good product, you can make another good product and another good product. That's how I look at it. Top companies can make better and other products. So we're overweight in the healthcare quite a bit. So we have to have somebody drop before we pick up into it surgical. So just think about it. But it's not a bad one. If you want to get into it, it's a good stock by any means. Texas Instruments, an old classic semiconductor company, the cyclical type, goes up and down. Revenue's 1.7 down, and people didn't really like it. Of course, they don't like it. It's not jumping up double digits like other things. I mean, it's been around. I mean, I grew up with a TI-30 calculator. You put in a little bit blue cushion bag, put it on your belt loop, and you look like a superstar. You were the superstar math person, and but they're in the automotive chips, and of course automotive is cyclical and lots of inventory on the lots that I see. But we just watch it. It's a company I watch, and they do good. I mean, a lot of money. So, and Verizon, in the old days, in the 1990s and stuff, we had Verizon. It was growing. 3G was new. Verizon was the one that had nationwide coverage. Wow. And now everybody's got 5G. And the new thing is now is, are you going to use and cut the internet cable, or are you going to do internet by digital? I just like both. I rather have my Infinity. I pay X amount of money for so much bandwidth, and then I got my phone, and I just have both. And you say you don't need to do both. And now I know, but I rather just do it that way. Revenues, 1.7. Boy, what a slow grower that one is, and it looks like it. That chart is just flat, And dividends, good. So it's better than a bond. If you're going to buy it, bond, why not just go get Verizon, because it's generally going to be in there. It's not going to jump around too much. It's going to be around. T-Mobile's going to be around, and AT&T is going to be around, but you're not going to double your money per se, unless something comes up that I'm missing. Abbott is a good company, 7.2. That's a good stock. Any stock that does like 7-8%, that's good. Pretty solid company. They did earnings, and I thought, well, guiding EPS in line, that's way too much of an overreaction. Now, really, it went up from 112 to 125. That's not lighting it on fire. It's not like these days in NVDA jumping up, billions of dollars a day in market cap. So I just think a lot of times people, can get into it. We're overweight again in the medical device area, but it's a good company, and it'll be there, and they haven't screwed up, and they've got products like the I call it the wireless diabetes Libra 3 monitoring. So can they make other products? Sure they can. UL, oh, look at this. This company's doing real well. It's almost like a stock. Doubled your money since September. Why? Because they're selling out. Travel, I'm starting to realize, is not being held back. People, there's like two groups of people. People who can go travel, go out on the plane all the time, no problem. Take it, fly, they love it, and they're keeping the planes full. Then there's other people out there looking at the price of eggs and trying to say, I got to have the
This is a reminder.
Walmart,
European stocks are good.
Oh, well, that's a tough question.
This is a reminder. European stocks are good.
I'm trying to think. I've been, I got Asia stocks, and I got, obviously U.S. stocks. The European, other than ARM, I really don't have a big one. A lot of them are just flat, slow growers, 1, 2, 3, 5% growth. So not going to get me to jump into a European stock. There's always potential. It's been flat. The U.S. market's way overheated compared to that. But I have a feeling if the Russian-Ukraine war settles, it's going to take off. And that's when you want to probably get into Europe. You can buy index funds, you can do other things, but right now it's kind of flat. I want to say that the war is a drag on everything out there, but it is. It's the power effects. They need stability in the grid, and they need natural gas. So the war ends. I think Europe is going to be the one area. You got to put some stuff in the European stocks. Just to me, just probably a basket of an ETF, Germans, French, and English stocks, and probably be okay. Union Pacific, been around eons. Revenue's flat. I just always amazed because I see the railroads just carrying all this stuff, and the revenues are flat. It's like, well, maybe they should raise the price a little. It should go up a little bit, but in line, going to meet the targets. Everybody seems to jump real good. It jumped when it had the earnings. You can see that, but look at this. It's been flat sideways. And I think a lot of the Norfolk Southern, East Palatine vinyl chloride spill got people sour on the railroads. I just think it's not bad. You know, it's not our high-end transportation. We want growth. You know, there are transportation companies that are growing, not Union Pacific though. We bought the 11th meme coin or 11th crypto. I don't want to say they're all meme coins, but you know, here's the facts. It came out this week. It shot up to $70. Coinbase put it right about here, so you could have bought it at 50 some dollars, and of course you're down at 29. Wow, there goes a lot of money real quick, you know. But that's the thing. We're 2.8% of our portfolio is cryptocurrency. You know, I'd like to keep it at 2.5, but you know the thing is that he owns 80% of the what do you call it, the billion crypto that's out there, and he probably is not going to sell during the 4 years at least, right? I mean, it makes, you know, minute you sell out and cash out, people are going to say you're screwing them and you're suckering them and everything else. And I don't think that's the case. I think he's going to probably keep it, you know, because you know in the future we're going to have all these ETFs. We're going to have way too many crypto ETFs. You know, there'll be, you know, the meme coin ETF, there'll be Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, so on and so on. The Magnificent Seven version of the ETFs, and you know the whole thing is we just got to be able to say I got 10 Solana and I want to buy that pizza, and click, point. Nobody pays money. There's no interest charged to the merchant. That's what I think is going to happen someday. But you know, I've been doing crypto since $10 when I first heard about it, and this promise has never come around. I mean, what is it, 2010 or something? I remember, I think I was hearing about crypto, and you know, when it got to 50, I thought, I don't want to do it. You know, I remember it was like you bought something because you had to pay money in China because they didn't have Visa, MasterCard, so you bought a crypto, put it in, sent the money, and well, you know, it's gone. I'm sure it was Bitcoin, but you know, it wasn't anything. It was like, I don't know, say it was like baseball cards. You know, you had crypto, big deal. You know, it's just something to go out there and pay somebody money. You know, but you know, it's a digital currency, and it definitely has an effect on countries. You know, because if he wants to make um, a king of cryptocurrency as the United States, well, we got a lot of crypto to sell people. I mean, there's what 20,000 cryptos out there. So, you know, we just picked the ones that I think are going to be good. It's just a basket, and, you know, I think it's going to be big because, you know, if the team wants to have it, they want to have ETFs and they want to have everything, they're going to be selling a lot of this stuff, you know. So I like this. You know, one of the things that we don't get on crypto is we don't get this clarity. There's only, you know, a billion of them out there, and he's got 80%. So, you know, he's going to make some money when he sells it no matter what. If he sold 800 million times 29, there's some $1 billion right there. So, you know, I just think he's not going to sell. I think by natural progression it's going to go up, and that's why we bought some. And plus, you know, I told the doc, you know, you own Trump. You own Trump. You could say that. One Trump is $29. You can say I own Trump, you know. Otherwise, even the Wolf, he's like, I don't know, that's a meme coin. I don't want to buy something that's not really got a so what? Buy a meme. It's like, you know, GameStop, AMC, we made money. But this one is an interesting one. You know, it's clear how much there is. It's all the faith and reputation of the, you know, whatever you think this thing is worth. And, you know, never underestimate people to sit there, buy in the bandwagon. Some ETFs like, oh, I guess I'll put some into I'll buy $1 million of these and put them in my ETF or my basket. And there you go. So, you know, we don't know what it's going to go. I just think low risk, just buy something, you know, just buy a little and just put it in. It's 0.03% of the portfolio. It's nothing. You can afford it. Schwab, wow, look at this, 19% revenue. I think that's a pretty good job. You know, we use Schwab, you know, the CEO on CNBC, you know, again, one thing I like about the CNBC is they're getting all the top CEOs of stuff that's doing good, you know, so that's a great quarter, and of course the earnings jump to reflect it. I mean, that's what I like to see. Good earnings jumps up. It's kind of been flat for a long time, but they're doing well. They're getting a lot of people under 40, a lot of people under 30. It's not just Robinhood. And, you know, they do a lot of other things. And, I mean, that's what we trade off of, you know. And I like it. It's got, you know, particularly like, you know, the little portfolio performance chart. I like that a lot. And he's like, you mean your net? Yeah, but it just makes life easier for me, you know. And you can see it. You can point, click, trade on your phone, on your computer. I mean, anywhere, anytime. wow, that's a nice thing. I mean, I just, and there's no fees. There's no fees. So they're going to get, they got billions of dollars of money wrapped up in others, portfolio products, but, a lot of money in Schwab, and good quarter for them, good. And then, Netflix, boy, I remember it was at $200 it collapsed, had a worse quarter. You got to have some real tough, steel to buy a company when it's had a collapse and you believe in it, and that's what people did that made some money. And now it's almost $1,000. I mean, revenue's up 16%. Boy, that's solid. That's a solid. This is a nice, perfect chart for the 200-day moving average. Biggest quarter of net ads. Well, of course, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, lots of ads for that. Nothing extra. Just had to subscribe for the month, and then we had the football too. So I think, like I said, not a bad company. We have social. We'd like to add that, but little bit high, little bit high. And the new content they're putting out is just incredible, just amazing amount. 3M, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, an old stalwart, original Dow company, as I call it, because it was there before I was probably even alive. And but boy, that revenue dropped 25%, and they jump it up. I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. They should drop 25%. That's a horrible quarter. And I didn't get into why it did it and everything else, but this is not a company that's growing. They got the lawsuits settled on the hearing protection for the soldiers and stuff, but boy, I just could see it drop back down and go down to other areas. So I just it's got good dividend, but that's not what we're buying. You want to buy dividend stocks. Let's say you make 5% on these stock dividends. That's high. That's exceptionally high. And the market went up 33%, and you've gone up 2%, 3%. You were at 8, and we're at 33, 37. It doesn't make sense. I mean, you're not making money. You mean you're not losing it, but you're just like the cost opportunity that you had just vanished out through your fingers. I like this chart from J.P. Morgan. Taiwan Semiconductor by revenue, 62%. And they got a plant coming in Japan. They already got making stuff in Arizona. It's going to get bigger in Arizona yet. This company's doing well. I didn't think the Arizona plant was going to do so good, but they got the Blackwell chip they can make out there too. Samsung is a far distant one, and and Global Foundries is a U.S. company. Going to be big in the auto chips when that was hot, back 10 years ago. But this is really, what we have to go through now. China. Like I said, they're making their own stuff, but we don't get to see all that fun data by them. So, Taiwan Semiconductor, boy, that's a beautiful chart. Beautiful slope, nice, easy going up. Just seems to go up gradually. That's what we want. Of course, again, the collapse down to August got a lot of people scared, and we're just going to ride through all these collapses because they can't go anywhere else. Apple's using them. NVIDIA's using them. Who else do you really... I mean, look at 62% of the money in the foundries are going to Taiwan. Jeez, that's a dominance. That's a dominance. And Samsung's not a pushover. Trump coin, again, we bought this thing and it started trading. And like I said, it seems like I'm getting deja vu. I thought I talked about this one, but I did. Like I said, let's see how it goes. It's a small percentage of our portfolio. Utilities, we only got NextEra. We're underweight in the utilities. We did have Constellation, but we're in this. And then I added the UR. That'll be the next chart. Pretty solid. I mean, this is a nice steady uptrend for the XLU, which is the utility ETF. Good represented, good basket. What's happening is some of these companies, I guess Terra is not down 4%. You really should be an X. I don't know what happened when I copied it, but utilities have been solid. They're going to be in demand. If there's 6x by power demand, that means these companies are going to be growing faster than all your industrials probably. So, got to be in them, and maybe we get the XLU to even out and balance our portfolio, because why just try to pick on one? Just go into pick on the XLU and add it to the thing. It pays a dividend. URA, you can call it a material stock. I call it a material stock, and I also call it a nuclear stock. everything in. I just, I put down what's in it. It's got the Sprott Uranium Trust, which is like another ETF. You know, you buy uranium and then next gen energy and uranium energy. Very diversified, overall, and you know, and again, 2.5% dividend, and you're in the utility nuclear game. Whether it be the fuel or the expertise or the generation, you're in it, and that's good. And I think it'll be, um, a positive thing over time and stuff. So it kind of been flat. You can kind of see it come up here. It's been flat. It's been jumping around the 200-day up and down below it. But I think in the future, like I said, if Nick Stair's right, you're going to see alternative energy besides our oil and coal and gas start to pick up. And look at the week. Like I said, if you had the Apple and Tesla, which I know people have, we had a ugly mark day, but that happens. Energy's going down, of course. There's 5 straight days down. It's just ugly, but that's what's going to happen. But we're balanced. Again, Google, Meta, Amazon, Walmart, Microsoft, NVDA, JP Morgan, Lilly. Wow. Look at what's super bright over 5% this week. We have. That's why we're doing better. Because we're buying the best stocks. We're not buying the crappy stocks. Let somebody else go buy those stocks, I mean, that's a big deal. And that's what you have to remember is the reason you can do better than the S&P is you pick which companies are going to do revenues better than the S&P, and that's what we're doing, And like I said, I mean, Walmart. Look at that, man. That's pretty nice. And you go through all these sectors, and I got to look at Deere. I didn't look at Deere. Deere had a great earnings and stuff, but it's a long day. We're gonna get out of here. Have a good week. Stay warm. It'll get better eventually, but we had a good week. Enjoy the week. Celebrate. Go eat a chocolate bar or have a nice steak dinner or something else. But I'll see you next week. Take it easy. Bye.